They call him an architectural murderer, a billionaire ready to level history for a cursed paradise. Yet Sienna has no idea what lies deep within his heart. The streets are screaming with a fury that echoes through the concrete canyons, a desperate rebellion against a future that seems written in cold, unfeeling stone. To the world, this is a monument to greed, a black hole swallowing the past to build a fortress for the elite who ignore the suffering below. Every crane that rises is a dagger in the city's soul, or so Sienna believes as she watches the heritage of her people being ground into dust. From his ivory tower, Elias watches the chaos with a chilling calm. His face a mask of calculation that hides a burden no one else can see. He is the devil in a tailored suit, a man whose heart seems as cold as the glass between him and the world he is about to change. The battle moves from the dusty streets to the silence of the clouds, where the air is thin and the stakes are higher than Sienna ever imagined. She comes with fire in her eyes, ready to condemn his arrogance, but he greets her with a silence that is far more intimidating than any threat. He doesn't argue with emotions. He uses the brutal reality of a dying world to break the pure, naive idealism that Sienna wears like a protective shield. "You think you are protecting the poor," he whispers, "but you are only clinging to rotting memories while the storm of the future gathers on our doorstep." He lays out the numbers, the cold, hard facts of a planet gasping for breath, showing her that her protests are just whispers against a coming gale. For the first time, her conviction wavers, shadowed by the terrifying logic of a man who sees the world not as it is, but as it must become. "Welcome to the heart of the curse," he says, as the blueprint of a new world unfolds in light and shadow, revealing secrets the media never found. The world calls these dungeons, but Elias sees them as the foundation of survival, a hidden sanctuary built beneath the weight of a collapsing, exhausted society. He shows her the inevitable end, the collapse of the cities she fights for, and the chaos that follows when the water rises and the food vanishes. The blueprints she hated are not for a playground for the rich, but a lifeboat for the many, designed to withstand a climate that has turned hostile. Behind the luxury facade lies a machine of life, capable of purifying the poisoned air and water that the world above has long since taken for granted. It is a pharaoh's tomb that breathes, a project designed to save a species that is currently outside, screaming for its own destruction at his very gates. To understand the truth, you must see it with your own eyes, Elias says, leading her into the belly of the beast he spent years building. Beneath the surface, a miracle of biology thrives. A vibrant paradise protected from the toxic winds and the burning heat of the dying world outside these walls. This is the forbidden garden, the secret sanctuary that the world condemned as a monument to vanity. Yet it is teeming with the promise of life. Sienna watches in silence as those she thought were abandoned are treated with dignity, hidden away from a society that has no room left for them. He is not building a palace for kings, but a school for the survivors, using his cursed wealth to buy a future for the most vulnerable people. Every brick was paid for with the blood of his reputation, a sacrifice he made willingly to ensure that humanity has a place to start over. The devil has no need for worship, only for results, moving through his creation like a ghost who has finally found a reason to stay haunted. His ruthlessness was a shield, a necessary evil to protect this fragile piece from a world that would tear it apart out of sheer, blind envy. The truth shatters her heart, turning her righteous anger into a heavy, suffocating guilt as she sees the saint behind the mask of the billionaire monster. She fought to stop the very thing that could save them all, realizing that her idealism was almost the death of 1,000 innocent, forgotten souls. On the edge of the world, two former enemies stand together, watching the old world burn, while the new one breathes softly beneath their very feet. She realizes that fighting power is easy, but wielding it for the good of those who hate you is the most difficult path a man can walk. The activist and the tyrant are now two sides of the same coin, bound by a secret that the world is not yet ready to hear. The city transforms not through slogans, but through the silent grinding work of those willing to be hated so that others might have a chance to live. Action is the only language the future understands, and Sienna finally learns to speak it, setting aside her pride to join the devil's grand, holy work. Sometimes the most compassionate heart is hidden behind the most ruthless mind, waiting for someone brave enough to look past the shadows and see light. The manifesto of the devil is written in steel and soil, a testament to a survival that doesn't ask for permission, only for a place to begin. Idealism without action is just a dream, and power without empathy is just greed. Together, they have found the balance that will save their dying race. The paradise they built was forged in the fires of criticism, but it stands firm, a monument to the terrifying beauty of a truth that saves. In the end, we must ask ourselves, would we rather die with our hands clean, or live in a heaven built by a misunderstood, caring devil